Hello, I'm so happy I got a hold of you. So I know I may have potentially triggered some people by mentioning World of Warcraft, which, who knows, this could become a WoW channel, you never know. But I just kind of wanted to run through memory lane with my experiences with WoW, why it's such an important game to me, why it took over my life for a few years, and just kind of why I stopped playing. So, when World of Warcraft came out, it was in 2004, I had just started college, and my one of my childhood friends, my buddy David, who still lived at home, he was going to community college, he was telling me, you gotta play this game. And at this point, David, I've mentioned him a few times on the channel, he's always been spot on with good recommendations. Sometimes I didn't listen to him, but he's the guy, the reason I played Symphony of the Night, he's the reason that I picked up Final Fantasy VII. He is definitely a guy that always wanted me to pick up Chrono Trigger, was always trying to get me to play Secret of Mana, so he had great taste in games. He was playing Mischief Makers on the N64, so I definitely trusted where he was coming from. But there was also a point in my life where I was sick and tired of him always saying, like, yeah, I show you all the good games, right? So I really wanted to avoid WoW, and whenever, I think I came back in the Christmas vacation in 2014, or 2004, so that would have been... Yeah, so 2004, this was when the game was out for maybe a month and a half. I think he was raiding Molten Core, and it just looked, I don't know, he was standing around, it looked boring, there was all these guys, but nothing much was happening. I remember he was one of the early guys who botted, so I got to see him bot, and I wanted to show him the Lord of the Rings Return of the King Extended Edition, and the whole time he literally sat there and watched it and then played WoW while botting. And I remember asking him, like, bro, what are you doing? Like, oh, you got a bot? Great, we can go hang out. He's like, no. I'm like, what do you mean? You don't have to play anymore. He's like, yeah, but now I have to watch the bot, make sure he doesn't get in trouble. I'm like, so you really just are botting so that you can sit back and watch your character play instead of actually doing it? And we had a good, we had a good laugh about that. But that was my initial reaction to WoW, so I tried to resist it. I got to my sophomore year in college, and I met this guy who was in my fraternity named CK. And CK was cool as shit, man. He actually ended up becoming one of my best friends in college. And he introduced me to hookah. Like, we used to hookah, well, not introduced, but he had a hookah, and we would hookah a lot, and that's how I would kind of hang out with him. And he was playing WoW. And I'm like, oh god, here we go. And he was telling me how I should play it, and his roommate was playing it. And I saw him doing different things. I saw him playing Battlegrounds. And the Battlegrounds looked really interesting. Now, he was playing as a human paladin named Slurpee. And he was just going through Alternate Valley and all this other stuff. At this time, I think it was September of 2015. So by this point in the game, I think it was around patch 1.5, 1.6. And it kind of enamored me to the point of like, all right, and of course, he gave me the drug. He's like, hey, why don't you try it? Why don't you just try it for a bit? So my first character, I really knew I wanted to be a Night Elf because I couldn't pick Horde because he was on the Alliance. So I looked around, I'm like, it's gotta be a Night Elf, and I was debating between, like, I think he was trying to tell me to go Rogue, but everyone was Rogue. My buddy David, he was a Rogue. He was an undead Rogue, of course. His name was Doombringer. Very, like, ugh. So I decided for my first character to make a Night Elf Druid, because I wanted to turn into a beast. And when I got into the game, I didn't have that ability. I'm like, well, what the hell is this? Like, oh yeah, you don't get that till level 10. I'm like, oh god, well now I gotta get to level 10. So I played and played and played, and of course I'm at my buddy's house smoking hookah, and after a while he's like, alright, you gotta get off. So I was already like, man, this game is great. And I'm jonesing, like, I gotta play this game. And I remember I came back the next day or later or after he went to work or something, and I got to level 10 and I got that bear form, and I was like, whoa, I mean, I wasn't digging the druid playstyle, I don't think, but I was digging the world, I was digging the game. Teledresso looked so cool, and it just, looking at the map and seeing how much world there was to go and how much was left to do, because at this time I hadn't played any PC games. This was the first major PC game I had played, and part of that reason is because I always had potatoes growing up. The first PC I had was some family Macintosh that was barely able to run The Sims and would still periodically crash from time to time, so I would have to frantically save all the time. It was like I was editing. I would always have to, after something happened, save the game and then continue. So that, and then that computer just continued with the next computer. Like, no, I remember I bought Star Wars Dark Forces for the PC, couldn't play it. I bought other various games, could never play it. So PC gaming for me was always, and that's why to this day I'm still so anti-PC gaming, is just I had so many bad memories of picking up games and them not being eligible or not being compatible or not being able to be played. It just left a lasting impression of like, I don't want to deal with this. Well, my buddy CK was like, I can help you build a PC, and then you and me can play. I'm not going to help you level. I'll give him that. He didn't like, I'm not going to help you level, but once you get to level 60, we can play Battlegrounds and stuff. And just, I mean, at the point, it was just, I was wanting to play the game. So I dropped like $500-$600, and bear in mind, I had no job at this point. I was living off of allowances and saved money and money I earned from like a summer job, and I used most of it to build this state-of-the-art PC. I mean, not the best graphic, but it's for a while. I mean, this is 2005, so it was a strong PC. I think I spent around $700-$800 or something like that. He built the thing. So we got it in, I installed it, and the first character I played was a Night Elf Hunter. And now I don't want this to go on too long, but basically I played a Hunter for most of Vanilla, and then at some point these fresh servers came out, and me and him had both, like, I had raided Blackwing Lair, Molten Core, where you'd started to do Encourage, and I was just getting burned out. This was a big 9 months. I was obsessed with the game, putting hours and hours and hours into it. I never got Rockdalar, which pissed me off, but I did get the first Dragonstalker helmet in our guild and stuff like that. And so we wanted to start fresh. So he played a Tauren warrior, and I was a Tauren shaman. And we leveled all the way to 60 that way. And that was so much fun. I gave him the Wind Fury proc. I snaked the Scarlet Monastery shield from him, which he freaking still remembered at level 60. I remember he ended up snaking something for me in Burning Crusade because of that damn. He still brought it up. Man, he still brought it up. And after we leveled all those to level 60, we didn't really want to start raiding again, because he had been raiding himself in another guild. He was the out-of-combat Reser, when you could do that as a paladin. And so we leveled 2 rogues. And then at this point, his girlfriend at the time started playing, and then he got her a second account, which was actually a former Grand Marshal account that was given to him because he was doing that PvP grind. He made it up to level 13. He was obsessed with that stuff. And so we did that, and we played all of that, and then Burning Crusade came out, and I never got back into the hardcore raiding scene, but I played a lot of Burning Crusade, just all of that, but at that point, that's when the game started losing a little luster, because everything I'd earned in Vanilla was suddenly worthless, which stuck with me. That was part of the reason why I never got too hardcore. I was like, I don't really want to go to do Highjaw or Tempest Keep, because when the new expansion comes out, it's all going to be worthless. And for me, that was a new experience in a game. I never experienced what I'd done, the progress I'd made, suddenly being made null and void because an expansion came out. So that was a kind of the beginning of the end for me with the game. I mainly muddled around Karazhan. We had a guild that was really fun. We had great guys like Os in it and Tom O'Leary and stuff like that, but we never really got too serious. So one time we were getting some serious progression. Our guild leader got hacked and lost his account and got banned. And long story, yeah, poor Jays/Gothier. But eventually, the reason why I ended up quitting was, and I quit off and on throughout Vanilla and through BC, but I always came back. I ended up with around 250 days or 230 days played between all my characters by around the time Wrath came out. And once Wrath came out, that's right when I was about to graduate college, and my computer died. Literally died. I'm sure it was a power source or something I could have fixed. I mean, I still have the things that has stuff on the hard drives I need, but the computer died, and at that point I'm like, all right, you know what? My family's all worried about me. My dad's talking to me about dopamine addiction. My computer died. I'd broken up with my girlfriend at the time, and it was like, you know what? This is the time to break off from WoW. And that's when I did. I quit cold turkey. My parents were like, we're going to buy you a laptop. And I was like, well, make sure and buy me one that has no graphics card, because I don't want to play WoW. And I kept that way for a good 3 years, until I played Cataclysm. And part of the reason why I came back for Cataclysm was they changed the whole world, which that right there really bummed me out. I loved the old world. I loved old Ashenvale, old Darkshore, my leveling path, the old Thousand Needles, the old Barrens, and then it's to see that it's all getting changed fundamentally really didn't make me want to play it, but at a certain point, I think it was 2012. It was right when Dragon Soul was what was current in the game. I came back for 3 months, and the game it was fascinating because I'd been gone for so long that when and it had this, I think it had a boost or it didn't have a boost. I don't remember. Because I know I leveled up my rogue. I leveled up my rogue partially in Wrath. I got to like level 78 because at some point my computer came back for 2 weeks after it died that one time, and I was able to level it a little bit. Then it died again. But I started back on my rogue again, made it all the way up to level 85, saw the new worlds like Vash, and figured out, I learned that Rag was back, and that Ragnaros had legs in that, and I was like, oh, that's cool. But the world and also this is when I got Jen to play, if you can believe it. I had Jen play a Blood Elf hunter named Tin Dinosaur, and I picked up my Troll hunter named Ariel, that actually was the name of an old guildie that transferred off the server or changed names, and then I took his name, and he was begging me for his name back, and I'm like, no, this is mine. So we leveled up, and we had the triple experience, and I got the buddy rocket thing, but everything seemed so different. There was no more mana for hunters. There was no bullets. There was no there was looking for groups. Like you didn't have to sit around and get a group, and just everything was so streamlined. But at the same time, it lost some of that magic. Now that at the time I was enjoying myself, but I ended up only playing the game for about 3 months because it took me a week, and I got my paladin, my shaman, and my rogue all to level 85, and I got them all epicked out in like 3 months, which it took me 9 months of countless grinding to get my hunter up to all epicked out, and that felt like an accomplishment. Getting all the tier 0 and everything, that felt good. And this one, it was just kind of, oh yeah, we're doing Bastion of Twilight again, we're doing the blah 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 again, like the same groups, and they're dropping epics now in dungeons. That's weird, and I can queue for it. And then there's a heroic version of Dragon Soul. There's not just one version. And then it's like, oh my god, Morchok turns into 2 Morchoks? This is crazy. But the luster was gone. The world wasn't the same. I wanted to show Jen the same world I grew up playing. Or not grew up, but the same world I was in 6 years prior. Or 8 years prior. It was just different. And so I left the game again, and then Mists of Pandaria was announced, and it was weird Asian-inspired pandas, and this looked like a cash-in for Kung Fu Panda, and I was like, nah, I'm not playing this. And Warlords of Draenor came out. I remember the reviews coming out and seeing it, saying like, oh, this is a decent game. I had no idea that after 3 months there was nothing to do. But then Legion was announced. And at this point, I found a guy on YouTube called Preach Gaming, and specifically his legacy videos talking about vanilla, because I would always romanticize vanilla. Like I considered playing some private service from time to time. I just never did. And I saw his show called Drama Time. And Drama Time is just so representative of what the game was like for me. Like, I have drama stories I could share about our guild leader getting, hacked, and then his guy getting banned, my buddy who used to bot, and then coming back and being that typical BS rogue, of course. When I was a hunter, the first guy I met was another hunter that I thought was the guy of legend, and then 3 months later, after I got to 60, I learned the guy was only 13. And like, this guy I'd been idolizing this whole time, at the time I was 19, was a 13-year-old little scrub. It was just hilarious. So I just kind of got reminiscing and hearing about all these stories. And then some of my multi-tap buddies like Donovan, they played WoW, and Bane played WoW. So when Legion was coming out, I was like, I'm going to get in this. I'm going to get in day one. I haven't played a brand new expansion since Burning Crusade came out, because Wrath I was barely there. So I played Legion for about a month and a half. And I really enjoyed Legion. I never got a legendary. The leveling was really cool. I played my rogue for a bit, but then we ended up going to my old hunter. Which I hadn't really mained Slifer since Vanilla. So playing him was a lot of fun. And I ended up going Beast Mastery because Beast Mastery looked like easy mode. Because that's the other thing, is all the specs got so complicated, but also so just uninteresting for me. Like, I really loved in Vanilla how I had different traps and then different aspects, and I had certain cooldowns that I could look off in the distance, and I could track humanoids on the map, and I could do all this cool RPG stuff. And then slowly, as the years went on, they just started removing it. And even with, and especially in Legion, there was no talent trees anymore. And it just really, like, it just unpeeled all of the like the nostalgia was just gone, and then I'm left with this shell of a game that's still fun to play. I mean, the reason I came back, I think, in Cataclysm is I started playing Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, and the whole game was like, man, this plays just like WoW. Why the hell am I playing this? I should be playing WoW. I remember Jen saying, it's like, well, why don't you just play WoW? I'm like, all right, and that's when I got Cataclysm, and I just wasn't into it. I mean, I got to, I think, item level 748 something. I did some Emerald Nightmare pugs. I cleared 5 of 7. We never, you know, I got beat on Cenarius, and we never made it to whatever his name was, whatever the hell the guy's name, I can't remember his name is. But seeing people like what's his name, Ursoc, seeing him, who I always loved the Furbolgs. The Furbolgs were always big fans. I remember Timber Mahold when they had they had a certain thing in one of the patches drop where they had a new recipe or something, and there was this raid groups farming the anti-Timbermaw Furbolgs, and I wanted to get exalted with Timbermaw so bad, and it had no factor on my gameplay, no factor on anything. It was just something fun to do, and the new WoW had none of that. You could fly over all the zones. Getting around in Legion was a pain in the ass. All the different maps had pathways and cutout terrain, and just it wasn't the open sprawling Ashenvale where you could just go left, go right, and there was all the map icons showed you where to go. There was no thinking involved. It was just kind of going from point A to point B while the game held your hand. Oh, then you can queue for a dungeon system here. Oh, and then you got this and that. It's just too much. So, like I said, it's funny. As I went through the years, my time played got less and less and less, and I stopped playing Legion. I still follow WoW. I still follow the state of BFA is apparently terrible for people, which I can see why it'd be really irritating. I mean, I never really got into Mythic Plus much either, and the island sounds terrible. But then they announced last BlizzCon that they were bringing Vanilla WoW back, World of Warcraft Classic. And immediately, because I almost did play on, once the whole Nostalrius thing happened, I almost got on Cronus to play, but I stopped myself because I'm like, I don't want this to take over my life again. Because Vanilla WoW literally was the game I could not stop playing. I could not stop. I mean, Burning Crusade kind of tempered it, but not, like, I was so obsessed with that game. The only game that ever took me away from Vanilla WoW back then was Fire Emblem Path of Radiance, which is why I think I hold that game in such high regard, is it was almost a patch for the drug that was WoW. So now to think Classic's coming back, and to think I could have all this time to go back and re-experience the game as I knew it and as I loved it, I just can't wait. I just can't wait to play it, and I really am debating which character I'm going to play, because, you know, obviously, Rogue is so much fun. I got to Vanilla with my Rogue, that was right as the pre-patch was about to come out, so I think I did ZG once or twice as my Rogue Tice, but then after that, it was just over. So I don't know if I want to do that, although I could be a warrior, which warriors are horrible to level with, but are just gods in endgame if you have a good guild. Or realistically, I probably should go back as my hunter and finally get Rockdalar, because that's just something that's always bothered me, is that I never got the hunter bow. I saw the leaf drop 6 or 7 times, I just never had the DKP for it. So I think, I just don't know. I just don't know. And so, yeah. So yeah, Classic WoW I'm just really looking forward to. And let me know if you guys even care, if I've drolled on here for 20 minutes about something no one gives a damn about. And yeah, hopefully it doesn't take over the channel in my life again. But I have such fond memories of that game. And it's just, I can't wait to re-experience it and see it the way it was, because I really miss it. I really miss going in current WoW and just being like, I want to go check out that Ashenvale quest on a new character and get that Furbolg staff. I'm like, oh, it doesn't exist anymore. And yeah, and old ZG. I mean, I love old ZG. To see it back, I just can't wait. So yeah, Classic WoW for me is gonna really just be a nice treat. And thank you guys for watching. Let me know if you like this extended story time. And it's been so nice getting a hold of you. Take care.